A very good evening, everyone. Nice to have your company wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia or indeed all around the world. These are the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This is the former and now only virtual Oran Park Raceway in Sydney. And this is round 2 at Disruptive Labs Formula V. The headline act on a Thursday night, night 4, week 2, term 3, 2026. Zach Caber, Matt Schmidtke with you. There it is. Beautiful. 2.62 kilometres southwest of Sydney. We loved it in the real world. We were sad to see it go. We love that its legacy lives on, both through the motorsport archives here in Australia and also, of course, through the virtual platform that is iRacing. And this will be rounds 4, 5 and 6, or races 4, 5 and 6 of the season. And then we go Oriental on a Thursday night for the first time this season. We'll take you to the Fuji International Speedway in Japan and the second round of the GSRC Porsche Cup, where hopefully, Matt Schmidtke, we're not turning people away this week. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Zach. Yes, hopefully we can get everyone a drive, including myself, but we'll wait and see what happens. And you've said Oran Park is beautiful, and I believe it is even more beautiful than it used to be because it has recently got a graphical overhaul, so it should look better than ever.
Absolutely, and great to see this bloke back in the chat thread and on the grid as well. His home track. He's spent many a day waltzing up and down the pit lane there in the past as G. Boyden, and now he gets to go out and have a steer. We look forward to seeing how he fares, and no surprise to see that the old experienced hand of Formula V racing, John Merritt, has made his way back onto the grid. He gave everyone a 2-round head start last year, come back, won the title. He's only willing to give everybody a 1-round head start this term, and he's back on the grid, slots into third place behind Chapo. Pretty much bang on time there, those two. Only 0.004 of a second covering them. And Mark Heppel is the man that's going to lead the field to green first up on a Thursday night. There are the track settings and server weather conditions. I'll go through the ladder first. 9:28 local server time, 10 km/h winds, mostly northerly direction, tending northeasterly. 19 degrees the ambient, 19 on track, 69% humidity, and cloudy but mostly dry at the moment. 2.62 kilometres this circuit. We are ready to go. Championship points coming into this round, just quickly, is a dog's breakfast because the amount of red on that sheet, the amount of drivers that got slugged with an invoice and a penalty last week, not something that anyone would be terribly happy about. A three-way tie for third on points last week. Sheedy, Heppel and Lavis, Chapman and Harris, your round winner and runner-up respectively. Good run for Jono Harris last week. Let's see if he can back that up tonight. We also should note 3 boys sitting this one out in the naughty corner. Patrick Savina, Cooper Fratton, Craig Bond, all slugged with a 1-week suspension because they exceeded safety licence penalty points in round 1. Heppel and Chapman the front row, Merritt and Tate the second row. James Katia, a good start for him, launching from P5 alongside Adam Lavis, Adam Proctor and Tony Baker from row 4, Michael Adams and Harrison Rayner from 5. From 6, Brooklyn Bredden and Aidan Rankin. I wonder if that's any relation to Scott. Jonathan Harris and Tim Ward from the 7th row. Hilton Booth and Tarek Alani the 8th. Jordan Pianazzola and Brendan Neal on the 9th. Harrison Den Brinker and Eduardo Zamora the 10th. The 11th, Greg Heaney and Joel and Hansen. The 12th, Pete Matson and Cameron Dakin. The 13th, Thorne Weggett and Will Ramsden. The 14th, Alex Barrelon and Oscar Haynes. The 15th, Colin Bennett and Boydo. The 16th is Jason Tierman, all on his little lonesome. We are ready to fire. Have a look at that. What a great sight that is at Oran Park. The field set to come into starters' orders. The first one of 3 for the night, and we are ready to fire. Welcome along the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Race 4 at 30 for the season, the start of the second edition of Thursday Night Motorsport for term 3. Let's go! Skipping away nicely was Adam Lavis. He's made a brilliant start. Got by James Katia already, but then obviously pulled up side by side with Ryan Tate. Wasn't able to get that done. Have a look at Mark Heppel. Up around the outside of him was John Merritt. And down on the inside of the pair of them was Sam Chapman, and he will lead them through. Can we get through cleanly? Surely we have a cleaner run tonight than what we did on the streets of Adelaide last week. It wouldn't be possible to match that level of attrition and carnage. Off goes Eduardo Zamora already. And they're going to try and go left and right of him, and they do a very good job of missing him. Although Greg Heaney's been left behind it in 28th spot. No Aidan Rakin, no Jason Tierman, no Oscar Haynes on this grid. And Alex Barrelon drops down a couple of spots as well. Boydo's up into 24th already. And Thorn Weggett's made good inroads up to 21st. Mechanical meatball flag, Adam Proctor. Put a line through him. He's done for race 1. He will need to come to pit lane. Dan Brinker's off the road as well. And get that fast repair. And Brett Bradbury still recovering from last week's carnage. Watching on from the comments section. Good evening to you, sir. I must say too, off the top, obviously, I was away calling the Porsche Pro Round last night. Well done to Damon Wood's dominant performance there. But a big thanks to the collective of Andrew Neal, of course, Dale Sharp, Jordan Pianazzola and Tyson Broad for covering my backside last night. Hopefully one of them's able to pick up the freight the next few Wednesday nights, unfortunately, due to a mix of work in town, a Jim Jeffries comedy show, and also 3 more rounds of the Porsche Pro. You don't see much of me on a Wednesday night this term, folks. So I appreciate those guys picking up the freight. Up over the crest, up over the bridge, and they flick it to the right-hand side. Merritt in control, which is an ominous sign for everybody that the master is back in town. They've sorted themselves out into single file formation far too quickly for my liking right here and now, Matt Schmidtke. It will change in race 2, of course, with the invert top 10 and the invert top 15 in race 3, I'm sure. But maybe, just maybe, that's a trade of racing at Oran Park. I would have thought that the V's would still put on their usual 2x2 slipstreaming dicing battling show. They haven't done as yet, but as you can see there, the slipstream effect is strong. Tony Baker and also Adam Lavis. Baker down on the inside. Lavis hung out to dry trouble at the final corner. Alex Barrelon limping away back to 27th position. Ooh. Interesting stuff so far. 1 minute 18.018. The standing time there for Ryan Tate, the fastest club of the race last time through. So with that, he's latched onto the back of John Merritt. What we should point out too is with those sorts of numbers, 1:15 and 2 is 2:35 and 2 is 10. We're probably looking at no more than 8 laps for this opening heat. Mark Heppel for contact on Sam Chapman on lap 1. Cops a 5-second invoice. And he's also lost 5 positions in the process as well. So insult meets injury for Mark Heppel. Chapo back there in 10th spot as a result of that. So he's now staring down an invert pole position at this rate. Whoa, trouble, Heppel's gone. And Rayner as well. So Heppel dropped it off the road, lost out to Jonathan Harris, drops back to 6th spot, and then Rayner's gone flick spinning into the weeds. And Chapo back up into 9th spot ahead of Jordan Pianazzola. So 2 of our good mates stirring down a front row invert start. Chapo off the road again. Chapo off the road again. Chapo, what's going on here? He's dropped down to 10th now. He's been passed by Jordan Pianazzola. Now, what was the cause of that, I wonder? But Chapo has dropped down to 10th. The off-track alert was lighting up deluxe. Let's have a look at this. Whatever this is, it's going to be bizarre. Has he gone to the inside and got squeezed? Has he gone to the outside? No, he's gone to the inside. Whoa! What on earth is going on there? It's not a joker lap, Chapo. Back on the black stuff, please. Fair dinkum. And he won't get an off-track for that because he didn't technically cut the course, Matt Schmidtke.
He
won't get a slowdown, I mean.
Yeah,
he won't get a
slowdown. Yeah, symmetry. He's just kind of going hard left. Yeah.
Don't tell me he's back on the controller.
I was thinking that. I almost brought it up.
Oh, too soon, maybe? I'm not sure. Fair dinkum. That's one of the more bizarre ones for Chapo. Brendan Nealon now showing off the road. Rayner back to 15th. Tim Ward showing off the road as well. So plenty of attrition here. Nealon drops down to 20th. Back into the clutches of Dan Brinker, who had his own incident earlier, our GT3 Pro points leader. And around the outside of the pair of them, who was that? My goodness, Will Ramsden and Brooklyn Braddon. And Pete Matson, the next pack of cars. Dan Brinker's gone to the front of that train, which includes Zamora Dakin and Brendan Nealon. 1:18.009 for Jordan Pianozola. Oh, Alex Barrel on pit road. Colin Bennett rejoining from pit lane. I'm not sure what's going on there. There was a car limping back out onto the racetrack. Must have been Colin Bennett. Must have been. Yes, just out of harm's way, letting everyone through. He's a lap down and out of contention. That comes on the back of a 34.28 second pit stop on lap 3. So that's good gentlemanly driving etiquette right there to move out of the road. Geez, I tell you what, the amount of bush bashing going on. They've kicked up a fair bit of dirt and grass so far tonight. Just as long as they don't drag as much key litter back onto the circuit as what we saw last night in the Porsches from Zandvoort. And if you enjoyed that, we hope you'll continue tuning into the forthcoming rounds of that series. And, of course, good luck to all of our club members that are contesting the V8 Pro Sandown 500 tomorrow night, 6:45 Eastern on the... Whoa, whoa, contact gone, see ya. Unlucky. Jonathan Harris points the wrong way. Dead set. How lucky was John Merritt to get away with that one? There was contact prior to that with, I want to say, Ryan Tate. It got messy down there at turn 1 and turn 2. And only Jonathan Harris cops an invoice out of all of it. Let's have a look again. 3 wide into the corner was never going to work. Tate fed Merritt some grass. Harris got loose on the inside of Baker and then straight in to Merritt, and somehow Merritt didn't get poleaxed. And on the subject of Messi, well done to Argentina. Football's not coming home this year, it would seem. What a game that was. Jonathan Harris with the slowdown to serve. Here's Ryan Tate now leading the way. But again, Tate does that on Merritt. He's nothing wrong with his moves and overtakes. All that was clean and above board. The problem will be what they decide to do about the initial contact between Harris and Tate and Harris and Merritt. Although Tate, I dare say they might have a look at the fact that Tate did force Merritt out onto the grass there on the outside of turn 2. But the reality is, Merritt's only lost 4 spots in all of that, and it wasn't as a result of being hung out to dry. It was that he was cleaned up on the follow-through from Jonathan Harris. So I don't think Tate has too much of a case to answer for here.
Yeah, it was.
What do you reckon, Shay?
It was a bit of back and forth between everyone really involved, and it's just
like back and forth.
Unfortunate that Johnny got on the grass there and got him a bit unsettled, and he went spearing across the track there.
Indeed, he did. Something about Formula V service this year in cloudy conditions. It's very gloomy at Oran Park at the moment. Down the inside goes Tony Baker to try and get by Ryan Tate and put Poles tuning at the top of the leaderboard as they come to the white flag. Let's go. One more round at Oran Park. Tate pulls up alongside, gets by Baker. Baker hugs the inside of the circuit. Laver's trying to cop a toe, and so too is Mark Hebbel. It's a race in 4. Merritt's fallen off the pack. Chapman's got back up on a 7th in the inside of Michael Adams, and Baker to the inside to take the lead at 1. Tate tries to go around the outside. Baker's not letting him do that. And here comes Adam Lavis up to second now. Lavis to second, gets by Tate. Tate goes deep on the inside at 3. Here comes Mark Hebbel as well. He wouldn't want to throw away a positively good result. I know he's got 5 seconds coming his way, but he needs to put as much distance as he can between Merritt and the chasing pack so as not to harm that work too much. He's going to drop some ground, but he'll be hoping to minimise the damage of the invoice and not drop too many spots. Through they go for the final time. Baker, Tate, Lavis, Heppel, Merritt, Chapman, the top 6. So the men that sat first and third, or second and third on the grid, are coming home 5th and 6th. Baker to the inside of Tate. The run to the line key. Side by side. Cue the photo finish. Baker's got it done, I think. Tate draws up alongside. Baker wins it. Baker, our 4th different race winner of the season in Disruptive Runs Formula V. How about that? Oh my goodness. Tony Baker, Ryan Tate, Adam Lavis, Mark Heppel and John Merritt, the top 5. Chapo in for 6th there to Michael Adams, Jordan Pianazola, Hilton Booth, and Jonathan Harris gets the invert pole despite battling in the top 5 late in the piece. Katia, Alani, Rayner, Ward and Jolan Hansen back to 15th. Pete Matson, Brooklyn, Bretton, Eduardo Zamora, Cameron Dakin. Boydo go up to 20th. He just needs another 5 spots and he'll be in the invert pole for race 3. It livened up nicely there, didn't it, Matt Schmidtke? My goodness.
Yeah, it certainly did. I was a bit worried it was going to be a bit of a follow the leader type of race, but everyone wanted to get their extra position at the end and made it a bit more interesting.
Very good stuff. Tony Baker, Ryan Tate, Adam Lavis, Mark Heppel and John Merritt. Oh boy. Sam Chapman in for 6th. Michael Adams, Jordan Pianazola, Hilton Booth and Jonathan Harris. Now, we know that Heppel's got a 5-second coming his way. We know there's an invoice there for the contact with Chapman, so that will drop him down. What was it, 0.598? It's going to drop him down directly behind Hilton Booth when the order is corrected, so he will go 9th. Not too bad in the grand scheme of things. Could have been a lot worse. The Heat 2 grid, Harrison Booth, Pianazola and Adams, Chapman and Merritt, Heppel and Lavis, Tate and Baker. 9:45 local server time. Not too much change to the overall scheme of the conditions there. Of course, the progressive server only skipping a couple of minutes and these cars back on the grid. Not too much time to turn them around, quite frankly. It's a good thing it's an automatic button press for a reset, isn't it? Here we rock and roll once more. Racing again at Oran Park. 15 minutes the journey this time through. Should be good for 12 laps. If I'd been in John Merritt's shoes, I would have ended up in Campbelltown, says Brett Rubbery. Yeah, you probably would have. Down the inside, have a look at that. What a start from John Merritt on that note. Side by side, up to 4th, if you don't mind. Gets by Chapman and Michael Adams. There's trouble further back. Nealon's on the grass, so too Rayner and Alani. But John Merritt, what a blinder of a start, up 2 spots. In behind Hilton Booth. In fact, now trying to find a way through past Jordan Pianazola and Hilton Booth. This is one of those rare instances where they're at a part of the circuit where the V's, not even the V's, can go 3 wide and get away with it. Up over the bridge. Booth to 2nd. Harris leads this race. Pianazola under relentless pressure from Merritt and Chapman, and Adams is back in there being hung out to dry by Mark Heppel. Tate got up into 8th spot. Lavis back to 9th. Tony Baker yet to make any inroads. Here comes Pianazola trying to open the door. Whoa, Mark Heppel's out of shape but got away with it. Bang, up and over and gone. Goodbye, Alex Barrelon. Falls victim to a late lap incident for the 2nd time tonight, and that car's broken. Big impact, and he'll be on the tow rope. Well, we said it would be good.
Yeah, and well, Greg, one of these things is not like the other. You're a bit on your own here. Seems you're the only one running one of the old bodies for the V.
Correct. 28 starters for this race. We're down to 27 with Barrelon on pit road. Boydo, where's me mate Boydo? He's up into 16th, Boydo. Come on, son. In there for an invert pole position. He got the fright of his life when we got to Barber last year and he was on the front row. He was trying to stay out of the road and mind his own business, and they put him on the front row. Oh, dear. But now that he's back as a regular campaigner, I hope he just stays there and holds his own and gives them what for when we get to the start of race number 3. Be nice to catch up with him too. We were chatting during the break. Well, off we go. That's Tony Baker off the road. Baker's off the road. From hero to zero for Tony Baker. Oh, dear. Down to 23rd spot now. And it's on in earnest at the front. Pete Matson's trying to wedge his way up into the top 10. Under pressure on the inside from Brooklyn Bretton. 2 by 2 back in the pack. See, they've sorted out single file down towards the front of the field. But look at this. Whoa, Michael Adams is gone. That's going to be a big one, I think. In the middle of the track. Evasive action taken by James Katia to the inside. He's the one on the grass. Wild ride for Michael Adams. A crash in a straight line. It's like watching NASCAR at Talladega. Adam Proctor to pit lane. It's been a shocking night for him. Cameron Dakin's just completing the second lap. He's going to come up alongside and go past Adam Proctor now. James Coutinho, Alex Barrelon. The other two still on pit road. In all of that, I'm sure we've got some replays to go and have a look at. Schmitty, that was a wild ride for Michael Adams. I saw it happening. Bottom of the screen. Have a look at this again. Just looking for a way through. Got it all sorts of crossed up. Bang. I reckon that was that Adam Proctor or was that...
I think that was Coutinho.
Yeah. Yes. And now Brooklyn Brendan's off the road. Brooklyn Brendan is off the road live. And he too is on the tow rope. And look at this. Adam Lavis under pressure here from Tim Ward. Wardy down on... No, sorry. I apologise. It's Lavis putting pressure on Hilton Booth, I should say.
Oh, big one in the wall.
Into the wall. Big one in the wall. Eduardo Zamora and Pete Matson, I reckon, were caught up in that. Cars limping to pit lane. And that casualty list grows. Bredden, Coutinho and Matson all on pit road at the end of this lap. And Tim Ward is the one that's gone round.
Oh,
Mistaken identity innocent. A moment ago. Very innocent, but unlucky at the same time. Because of where he spun in relation to all the oncoming traffic, Schmitty. Sometimes, I mean, it's inevitable. It's a part of racing. Sometimes incidents happen. You'd still feel a little bit for the guys that have next to no reaction time in the hope of trying to avoid that incident. They just get caught up as innocent bystanders, and it ends up being a case of 2 or 3 different races being compromised rather than one. Over the top, Chapo chases Merritt. Have a look at Jonathan Harris leading from the front to the tune of 2.7, ladies and gentlemen. The pack is chasing, trying to reel him in. Up onto the main straight across the start-finish line we go. Have a look at the lap times as they come through here. 1:18.309 for Jonathan Harris. Where's Merritt and Chapman and Pianazola in relation to him? Oh, it's a 17.6 for Merritt. The margin's shrunk to 2.6. And if he can keep punching those sorts of numbers out, that gap of 2.6 is in serious danger of being completely and utterly eradicated by the time this race is run. It's 2.5 now. So Merritt is out in pursuit of Jonathan Harris. Will feel as though he got ripped off earlier in the evening, was on track for a W or a podium at worst. And now, no further action, by the way, that incident a couple of laps ago. But now Merritt's got his best chance of the night with some clear air. It's only Chapo chasing him, with Pianazola and Heppel struggling to find a way through beyond him just yet. Merritt's got a chance to reel in Jonathan Harris and restore order from earlier. And it would make it a pulse tuning double for the night. So, Chapo, the early points leader, of course, just needs to remain consistent, consolidate, and not book any overseas travel this term, Schmitty.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. He seems to have a habit of that, doesn't he?
Absolutely. Let's have a look at some replays here. This is the wild ride from James Coutinho. Oh, no. Oh. Adams was a passenger. He had no control of the car. As soon as it got sliding, as soon as it went slip sliding away from him, Coutinho was collateral in all of that. Oh, my goodness me. Here's Thorn Weggett. Oh, no. Oh, what have you done, Thorn?
Oh, just lost the rear.
Thankfully went to the left off the racing line and doesn't get cleaned up as a result. So, oh, no, hang on. What's happened to Boydo? Brooklyn Bredden and Grant Boyden are on the pit lane. So what's happened to Boydo here? He's ended up caught up in somebody else's incident. He was staring down an invert pole, Boydo, and all on his own, but he's going to get cleaned up on the exit, isn't he? So let's have a look at him up over the bridge.
This might be... Yes, I think he's had another incident before this.
Copy.
Maybe it's this one here.
Okay, let's have a look. And it's obviously got to the point where the car's not drivable. Dive bomb down on the inside.
Oh,
and he's
no,
wide.
I think it was already damaged by then.
Yeah. So He's maybe had 3 different incidents there because the first 2 look like he's just pulled up to one side. And maybe he's lost the steering and that's why he's gone into the wall. Oh,
that would be why.
He's got clean bowled. Was that either Thorne or one of his teammates that got stuck into him there? Let me have a look.
I might have been Brooklyn.
We need to have another look at this.
I clicked on to...
Thank you, Brooklyn Braddon. Yeah, that's exactly who it'll be for Wild Ride Motorsport. But it wasn't a wild ride for Brooklyn. It was a wild ride for Boydo. Have a look at that. My goodness. Jeez. Oh, so Braddon on the tow rope as well. Thorne goes through to 21st. And Boydo, with snapped suspension, shot steering, goes straight into the kitty litter. 6 minutes to go, and he'll be firing from the rear of the grid. But he'll be in good company. He'll have Brooklyn, he'll have James Katia, he'll have Alex Barrelon all sitting there ready to go. Although it looks as though Katia's checked out for the night, rather. He's checked himself out early. Thanks for having me, but I'm not going to stay until 8:30 like everybody else. You know, it's like when you go to a hotel and they say checkout time's 10 o'clock, you can stay right up till 9:59. No, he's not having a bar of that. Katia's not worried. Now, Harris has been caught. We predicted this would happen. Mark Heppel's off the road as well. That was him spinning at turn 1 and 2. Heppel in a bit of trouble. Merritt has latched on, reeled Harris in, and will now look to make light work of getting by and getting his way to the front. Oh, not yet. Although there's something to be said about returning serve here because it was Harris that clean bowled him earlier at turn 2. But Merritt gets square on, well, if you'll pardon the pun, he gets square on Merritt. He doesn't go looking for square-ups in terms of, well, you took me out, so I'm going to take you out and return the favour. No, he'll just let his driving do the talking and bank the points accordingly. And he can do that, and his pace has showcased why throughout the course of this evening. So Harris, Merritt, Chapman, Pianazzola and Heppel, the top 5. I can hear my Discord going ballistic here. I've got some, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. I'll get back to Boydo in a moment. He's just flicked me a message into the Discord inbox. I'll get back to him. Harris to the outside, hung out to dry. Chapo goes 2 for the price of 1. And Merritt is back in second once more. Still looking for a clean way through to the front. And look at Jordan Pianazzola latching on for fun. Chapo down the inside. Barely separable. They were rubbing wheels going up to turn 3. It's lap 9 at 12. 4 to go. 3.5 as they head for the bridge. Side by side. Have a look at this. Chapman. Harris back down on the inside. Wants another crack at Merritt and gets it. Merritt hung out wide. Harris will go through on the inside. This is the sort of racing we wanted to see in Heat 1. Madness. Chapo has clear air and is on track for potentially his 3rd win of the season. Greg Heaney on pit road. Colin Bennett as well, joining the casualty ward on there at the moment. Onto the main straight we go. That correspondence from Boydo was saying, have a good call. That was from earlier in the night. I only just saw it now. I'm not sure why. Thank you, mate. Also, some correspondence from Kurt Normanson saying that he did his back in yesterday and he's going to need to rest up in order to put a good show on Monday night when he's, of course, in the house on the broadcast because we're covering the AM split on Monday night. So Kurt Normanson will be watching on from afar this evening, won't be out on track, which is unfortunate. He's more than welcome to come and say good day to us in the booth, though, if he wants to. Whoa, it's getting very dicey here. It's very, very uncomfortable. Too close for comfort here. If you're one of the claustrophobic sorts, you're very uncomfortable right here and now. Jordan Pianazzola is looking at the back of Chapo, who's been passed by Harris and Merritt. So we've got a real reversal of the roles of the order here as they make their way through the first of the 2 dog legs. Merritt defending for the moment from Harris. And Chapo will see Merritt trying to skip clear, and he'll want a piece of that himself. So watch for Chapo to go to the inside down here at the bottom of the hill. Like clockwork. No. Merritt defends. Harris slots back into the line. Pianazzola just sitting back patiently waiting for his moment. Here we go, down the main straight. 2 to go at Oran Park. Up the outside goes Chapo, why not? Down the inside goes Harris. They swamp, they pounce on Merritt. Here we go to 1. Pianazzola not having a luck at 4 wide, is he? I think he was, but then he had to back out of it. 2 by 2, they go to 1. Little bit of a wheel bang. Pianazzola to Merritt. Harris holds on for now. Josh Zuno with some well wishes there for Kurt, of course. And he's been a little bit unwell in his own right, so he will hopefully... Brett Bradbury's comment has me in stitches. That's great. He's loving this. He won't need to call race control. Good. Josh, of course, was hoping to be on the grid last week for the GT1 and IndyCar doubleheader. We'll be bringing you IndyCar from Nashville tomorrow night. He wasn't able to due to health issues himself. So hopefully everybody that's unwell at the moment will be well soon enough and we can get back to having a full complement out there on the circuit. White flag in the air, this time by the line. 1 to go in southwest Sydney. Narellan, beautiful part of the world. Why the bloody hell they've got Barney obstructed by the traffic lights is beyond me. You can't see the white flag behind the lights, people. Down we go. Would have been better if he was at the next flag post. The run to turn 1. Down we go. Inside, Sam Chapman gets by on John Merritt. They're all trying to get by Jonathan Harris, who's done remarkably well to withstand the pressure, the onslaught of these three once they arrived on his doorstep, having led by 3 seconds at one point. 3/4 of a lap to go. Harris leads them through. Merritt, Chapman and Pianazzola. Back to Heppel, Tate, Lavis, Booth to Brinker and Zamora. Over the rise we go. James Denton sending his best to Brett Bradbury. I like it. In race control. Hopefully it's been not as busy in there for you tonight as it was last week, mate. Through we go. Harris, Merritt, Chapman and Pianazzola. I think Harris might have this one here unless there's a very late send from John Merritt, who got a beautiful run out of turn 9. To 10 and 11, the dog leg we go. Does Harris defend on the inside? Yes. He covered the line. He shut the door beautifully on John Merritt. And now it's a drag race back to the checkered flag. Jonathan Harris, John Merritt, Sam Chapman, Jordan Pianazzola. Jono's got it done. Harris wins it at Oran Park. Have a look at that. Well done. Held off the experienced campaigners of Merritt and Chapman. And what about Jordan up into 4th? Oh, that's as good as it gets. Another new race winner on the winners list in Disruptive Labs Formula V, and it's Jonathan Harris. Shuts down the opportunity of a pulse tuning lockout of the night and a pulse tuning sweep of the first 2 races. 25 Sim Sports will start 15th in race 3. Pianazzola, Heppel, Tate, Lavis, then Booth, Den Brinker and Zamora the top 10. Baker Hansen, Ramsden, Alani. Don't you hate that? You're trying to talk and then your stomach wants to belch on you. 15th to Harrison Rayner. Good recovery in the end. He gets the invert pole. Thorn Weggett, the unlucky one, down in 16th. Ahead of Cameron Dakin, Adam Proctor, Michael Adams and Pete Matson. Pistols in 20th. Then beyond that, it's just a casualty ward. Brendan Neal on Timmy Ward, Greg Heaney, James Denton's in race control, so I don't know why he keeps showing up on my leaderboard. And then the rest of the results will be on your screen in a moment, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a 2-minute warm-up here as we get ready for heat number 3. Housekeeping for you. Big thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrc.inc and Waste and Flash Graphics, of course, the great people that make it possible for us to do what we do here on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Couldn't do it without them. If you're a cycling fan, you're covered tonight. Le Tour de France coming up a little bit later on SBS. Fox Sports 3 is where you go for the opening day of proceedings from the Open Championship, the fourth of the majors, of course, for 2026, the British Open. And, of course, it's being played at the same venue where Ian Baker Finch was triumphant in 1991. It's on Fox Sports 503. The Cats lead St Kilda at the moment in Thursday night football, 4-2-26 to 1-0-6, and that's with 3:25 left in the first term. And in Parramatta tonight at Combank Stadium, Penrith are taking on Brisbane. The Broncos with the early lead 10 minutes into the game, 4-0. And repeating the news from the and it's absolutely tipping down cats and dogs in Western Sydney tonight. So wet weather football for those of you that want to tune into the NRL. And of course, if you missed it this morning, very well done to Argentina and Lionel Messi and his crew. What a performance that was. 2-1. And all the goals coming in the second half. And all of Argentina's coming in the last 15 minutes of the game. Unbelievable drama. Argentina to play Spain. France will face England for third. You'll see them both on SBS Sunday and Monday morning. Oh, we mentioned it earlier. Josh Zuno was talking about doing the Friday night doubleheader. We will be here tomorrow night. Joe Baldwin and I, not at the usual time. We'll be jumping in about 8:30 Eastern for all the action from round 2 of the Disruptive Labs GSRC Rd-2 Indy Series. And the first of 3 ovals for the season. Nashville Superspeedway, the venue. Correlation with the real world, of course, going there Monday morning after the World Cup final. And that will be a 65-minute race, or 130 laps, whichever comes first, and it's live and free from 8:30 Eastern here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, which will also include the wheel spin for Mountain Men, which will also include the results from the second round of the GT1 GSRC Civil War. Righto, who's your pick, Schmitty, for race 3?
You got to go with Merritt. I know he's buried down there in the pack, but it's a bit of a longer race, and he knows how to get to the front.
Did it beautifully in the first couple of laps of the previous race. We'll need to utilise that experience of his again if he's to pull off a similar result here, because he's buried further back into the pack and invert top 15 this time round. Here we go. Righto. Harrison Rayner and Tarek Alani the front row. Will Ramsden, Joel and Hanson the second. Tony Baker, Eduardo Zamora the third. The fourth is Harrison Denbrinker and Hilton Booth. The fifth is Adam Lavis and Ryan Tate. The sixth row, they have been barely separable tonight. The sixth row, Mark Hebel, Jordan Bianazola. The seventh, Sam Chapman, John Merritt. The eighth, Jonathan Harris alongside Thorn Weggett. There we go. So Thorn's down there in 16th. We'll see what he can do with that. Cameron Dakin, Adam Proctor, Michael Adams, Pete Matson, Tim Ward, Brendan Nealon, Colin Bennett. Then, of course, Greg Heaney. Boydo hasn't jumped onto the grid. Brooklyn Bredden, James Katia and Alex Barrelon. So no Aidan Rakin, no James Katia, no Grant Boyden. Let's go at Oran Park. Racing now. Good start. Power down. One very slow away. As they make their way down towards the first corner, we are 3 wide already. Wait for it. Trouble. Bang, gone. See you later. Oh, that's poorly parked. Yep, there it is.
That's a lot of cars. It's a car park.
Half the field's been caught up in that one in some way, shape or form. Hilton Booth still parked up there on the exit of turn 2. And with him for company is Adam Lavis and Brendan Nealon.
They're stuck together.
They're wedged, yep, conjoined Siamese-like. Look at that. Mark Heppel and Hilton Booth. You're not doing the tango, boys. What's going on here? This is unbelievable. Heppel's now just reversing for the sake of it, I think. Oh, no. What the hell? Tow rope, boys, tow rope. Otherwise, we're going to have to send the safety car out. There we go. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. So, in all of that, Tony Baker leads. Will Ramsden into second. Tarek Alani is third. Harrison Denbrinker, Eduardo Zamora, Joel Hanson, John Merritt, then Sam Chapman, Michael Adams, Adam Proctor, and then Pete Matson and Jordan Pianazola side by side down the main straight we go. One gone. Off track now for Pete Matson, I'm seeing on my screen here. Let's have a look at this. The replay. Oh. And as soon as everybody else checked up, you knew carnage would ensue. Because they all started to try and merge into that hole on the inside. And 3 into 2 does not go.
It does
now,
not.
Boydo has started from the pit lane. I can confirm that. He did start from the pit lane, so he's back out there. We can confirm that Aidan Rankin was the only one that didn't take the restart there. So Oscar Haynes, James Katia, Aidan Rankin and Jason Tierman, DNS for this one. James Katia, I should say, the only one, because Rankin, Tierman and Haynes were non-starters in races 1 and 2 as well. So, yes, only Katia not taking the start that time through. 27's better than none. And Adam Proctor on the pit lane now with Hilton Booth and Mark Heppels. So, not the race they would have been hoping for. The first to last Rainer special. Yeah, that's fair. He's down in 23rd at the moment. Boydo on corrected order will appear in 24th. It's currently saying that he's a lap down, but I don't think that's right. I think that's just a timing glitch with iRacing, and that'll correct itself very shortly. But he is well out of contention, it would seem, in this race. Eli Donaldson, good evening to you, sir. Good to have you tuning in. Although I hope you're jumping in behind the wheel of a Porsche if time permits tonight, rather than hanging out. You're always welcome in the comments section, but we love it more when you're on track, mate. We know that you won't come near the V's unless you're absolutely persuaded by 1S Chapman to do so. But it's good to see you tuning in regardless. Cameron Dakin, they're off track at the moment. Baker leads it for the second time tonight. He's 0.7 clear of Dan Brinker, and Dan Brinker would love nothing more than to snag his second win of the week, considering that he was dominant on Monday night in Waste Options GT3. And, of course, you'll be jumping behind the wheel of the Porsche very shortly, Matty Schmidtke, which means for everybody tuning in at home, we will have a baton change. Good to have Andrew Neil jumping back in on a Thursday night as well. Now there's some breaking news. Eli Donaldson is going to line up. Is going to line up at the Fuji International Speedway. Good boy. Looking forward to that too. I agree. I've never had a bad word to say about Formula V in the history of the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. As soon as they announced it a couple of years ago that the Vs were going to be in, that instantly renewed and reinvigorated my interest in the whole concept of sim racing. It has been a game changer. They are next level awesome. What are they doing next week? Donington Raceway, Donington Park, National. Donington Park National next week. So rather than the extension, the left-right chicane halfway down the back straight, you go through that short chute and back through the right-left chicane to bring you back onto the main straight. So the short circuit at Donington next Thursday night. From there, of course, we go to Scotland and then to Norway. Yes, Rudkoga Motor Centre for round 5 and Knockhill for round 4. Motorsport for round 6 will be compulsory viewing and value for admission. There's no doubt about that. And then Virginia, the North configuration of Virginia, which we saw in the BMWs last week in round 7. We'll get through the rest of the schedule a little bit later on. In the meantime, Baker under pressure here from Den Brinker. John Merritt's picked up Eduardo Zamora. So Merritt sitting there, nipping at the heels. Could it be a pulse tuning 1-2? Could the boss man finally get his name on the winners list? And remember as well, Baker could do, I misspoke earlier, Baker was our 3rd different winner of the season because Chapo did the double last week. But we've now had 4 different race winners this campaign, with Jonathan Harris finally nabbing one. If Merritt, Den Brinker, Zamora, either one of those 3 was able to get the W, the chocolates, in this 3rd and final race, you better believe it. 3 different winners for the night. And we love it when we share the love here on the platforms of the GSRC. So much drama last week. 3 drivers in the naughty corner this week with the 1 race ban. Hopefully we'll see them back next week. There's Harrison Rayner having yet another moment. Not fun for him in this 3rd race after getting the invert pole. Down the main straight, have a look at this. Den Brinker trying to fend off Merritt, who goes to the outside to get the toe from Tony Baker, and that works beautifully for Hot Lap. Up in a 2nd spot now, gets by Den Brinker and does it easily. Then covers the line on the inside. Baker closes the door on his teammate. There'll be no team orders there. We've seen these 2 lock wheels before. Barber, anybody from last term? Through we go to the right-hander. 7 minutes gone. Nearly half race distance. You're watching Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. It is terrific to have your company. We'll go around the grounds a little bit later on. There is so much sport to look forward to this weekend and so much motorsport as well. Another round of the FIA Formula One World Championship coming tomorrow night from Spa in Belgium. And practice for that gets underway around the time we're getting off air for the IndyCar race. So we're looking forward to that immensely. Through the dogleg and down. Merritt happy to tuck in and follow his teammate for the moment. And really play defence for Tony Baker. He doesn't necessarily have to, but the more cars he can put, the more cars Baker can put between himself and the opposition that's outside his own stable, the better. So Merritt's happy to sit there and run the gauntlet for Baker for the moment, and now he quickly changes his mind to the inside at turn 1. So Merritt and Baker swap positions, and that now allows Tony Baker to run defence for John Merritt. Off goes Cameron Dakin now. Oh, so with the exception of the first corner, it's been a rather smooth sort of sailing race. We've seen Mark Keppel, Hilton Booth both rejoin the race after 2.5 and 1.5 minutes on pit lane respectively. Adam Proctor's parked up and done. I don't think we mentioned that. So we're down to 26. Boydo's just gone through to complete lap 6. He's down in 22nd position. Next target for him is Thorn Weggett. But the margin is 9 seconds, so I'm not sure if Boydo's going to be able to achieve anything out of that. Greg Heaney's the next one that he's got to worry about down the road. Adam Lavis, any idea why he ended up on pit lane, please, Matt Schmidtke? Was it the damage sustained on lap 1? Did he have a mechanical meatball to clear or something?
I'm not sure. He only jumped to pits on lap 3, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We can see
And it was only for
something.
3.348 seconds, or 3.48 seconds. So, and it was on lap 3. Everybody else lap 1 or lap 2, so I'm not sure. Adam Lavis to pit lane to get a fast repair and get back out there, and he's running 24th as a result. Bizarre.
Yeah. That's not what we want. That's Greg. We want Adam. I'm guessing he disconnected potentially because he's not showing up when I go to him on any of these replays.
Copy that. Interesting. Every championship point vital, so hopefully whatever the issue was, he's got it sorted and he can grab a couple of extra points here as the race plays out. Remember, it is 12 laps, folks. We expect that that's how far it'll run. No change. A little bit of overtime required, actually, to complete that 12th lap. But I'm all for overtime on a Thursday night, as I know you are as well. Have a look at this. Ryan Tate down to the inside. Gets by Joel Hansen. Next target will be Michael Adams and Jordan Pianazzola. A good little four-way scrap here for position number 7. Gordon has been in the bloody thick of it all night, hasn't he?
Sure has.
He has been right there, nipping at the heels, knocking on the door. Down on the inside, boy. Ryan Tate not yet able to get by Michael Adams, who has sorted out the shakes that he had with the car earlier. He had no control of that thing in a straight line. It was slip sliding all over the place. He's managed to shake that out of the system, if you'll pardon the expression. And he now holds down 8th spot, a comeback of plus 11 in this race. Plus 13 for Johnny Merritt. No surprise there to see Hot Lap up 13. What was he in the previous race? Up plus 7 in the end, from 9th on the grid. So Merritt's been there or thereabouts all night long.
Yep, he just seems to miss out on the last lap or so. He's been at the front pretty much every race and just can't quite get the job done.
I don't think he'll be missing out this time. I think he's going to cash the check this time, Schmidt. He's already 1.58 seconds clear of the competition now that he's got clear air. Important to note, Harrison Dembrinker's got past Tony Baker and Sam Chapman's there knocking on the door. James Denton, I've got my work cut out for me for that incident. Yes. Oh, look, no, it's far better. There's nowhere near as much to pick apart with that incident as what there was on the streets of Adelaide on several occasions last week, mate. So I don't think it's as bad as it could have been. Will Ramsden has been passed by Jordan Pianazzola. Pianazzola up at a 6th spot. Tate and Adams have swapped around as well, 8th and 9th, up over the crest and through. Tate and Pianazzola and Ramsden in the thick of it here. Ramsden trying to hold his own and loses out to Ryan Tate, then loses out to Michael Adams. Whoa, no, Michael's gone. Michael's gone. You saw that. It didn't look happy going into the corner.
Ooh,
and he's looped it. And then, because he was parked on the racing line, Brooklyn Brethren comes through and clean bowls him. And Tim Ward blimps away from the scene of the crime as well. Oh, my goodness. We need to have a look at that from on board. And Adam Lavis is damaged for the 2nd time tonight. Let's have a look at this. So this was Brooklyn Brethren is going to arrive here and just see Michael Adams and not be up. No, gone. See ya. To his credit, he tried to get right. He couldn't get right quick enough or far enough. No bias at all. Absolutely none at all. I love it. Michael Adams, yeah, that curb. It was all in that curb. He smashed that and the car just jagged left. And to be fair, as he was trying to get up on the inside of the car that he was fighting with, and of course he was fighting with Jordan Pianazzola and Ryan Tate, and I think it was Joel and Hansen as well. He was squabbling with them, and as he did that, he was trying to make a move on the inside, ran out of track, and it was sliding before he collected the ripple strip, and then obviously the ripple strip didn't like the way in which he landed on it, and that's taken hold of the car and strangled it essentially, sent him packing out to the right-hand side. White flag in the air, one more time around, let's go. Thornweg gets picked up an incident points penalty, so Thorn's got to come through and clear a drive-through penalty now. That's not good for Thorn, but at least he's going to be able to get back out on the track and have a crack at the final lap. Down on the inside. Nice. Tony Baker has lost out to 3rd. And he's tucked in behind Harrison Denbrinker, who goes 2nd to turn 3. They go. Final lap. Chapo hanging back in 4th. Unable to notch up a W tonight. John Merritt's not being caught out to 4 seconds the advantage now. Now it's just a matter of sorting out whether Baker's going to get his 2nd podium of the night or whether Denbrinker and Chapman are going to overcome what's been a very good performance from Tony Baker at the death here. I think Chapo's too far back at the moment. Baker may still fancy his chances at getting back by Denbrinker. So 2 bones, 3 dogs fighting for them. One's going to miss out. Chapo at this point missing out on a podium. It could change between him and the line. Baker goes deep to the outside. The run onto the main straight is key. John Merritt gets his first win of the season. The defending champion back on the top of the summit at Oran Park. Oh, brilliant work. Brilliant work from Denbrinker to hold off Baker. Chapo misses the podium again. Oh, goodness. Zamora, Tate, Pianazzola in a photo. Hansen, Ramsden and Harris the top 10. No such luck for Harris in race number 3. But a race winner nonetheless tonight. In comes Tarek Arlani, Tim Ward, then Brendan Nealon. That's Alex Barrelon holding off Colin Bennett for 14th. Pete Matson, Harrison Rayner, Cameron Dakin. Boydo got back to 19th. Points for perseverance when you stay out there and you rely on the attrition around you after missing the jump. And then Greg Heaney in for 20th. Oh, how good was that? Formula V never, ever disappoints. A lot of drivers ruining that turn 1, turn 2 incident on the opening lap, Matt Schmidtke. But other than that, take nothing away from John Merritt. You said he'd have to work hard for his stripes, working his way through the field. He did that, and then some. He pulled away. 4 seconds in the end. John Merritt doing John Merritt things. We shouldn't be surprised.
Yep, he certainly did. And there's a phrase I'd use for what he did at the end of the race there, but it is not broadcast safe at this hour. So,
Copy. Me versus myself at this point, says Jonathan. Oh, dear. No. He looked around at the competition and said, catch me if you can, boys, but maybe next Thursday. See you then, he said. Brilliant from John Merritt. And he just checked out into the early evening. All on his lonesome at the end, 4.37, the winning margin. Den Brinker in for second, Baker third. They both did remarkably well to fend off. We know how good Chapo is behind the wheel of these things. They did well to fend him off. And then back to Eduardo Zamora, Ryan Tate, Jordan Pianozola, Joel Hansen, Will Ramsden and Jonathan Harris. Hey, well done to you, by the way, Jonathan. A first and a 10th. And obviously a solid result there in race 2 as you took full advantage of the invert pole position, mates, or the invert front start. So well done for that. Unlucky that it all went down the gurgler late in race 1, but you turned it around very nicely in race 2. Speaking of someone that turned it around nicely in both races 2 and 3, John Merritt's here, and Harrison Den Brinker's proving that whatever you can do in a GT3, you can also do in a Formula V, mate. Nice work. Harry, Earth to Harry, are you there?
Sorry,
hello?
I had to
There
find
he
my
is.
push talk button, my bad. Yeah, that was good fun. Had just jumped in last minute, literally had the outlap of practice. That's all I had. And I'm more than happy to come away with a P2. That was really fun.
He's just licked the stamp and sent it, ladies and gentlemen. So what do you put that down to? Was it a last-minute decision to jump behind the wheel tonight, was it?
I was going to jump in a little earlier, and then Thorn hit me up and said, yo, we're doing V's, and I realized what time it was, and we had like 10 minutes, and I had to also set up a new wheel, so, just didn't get any time.
Oh, dear. How good. Very nicely done. Let's talk about a couple of different things here because, it's interesting to learn that you've left it a little bit too late. You've been caught out by, obviously, being kept busy with setting up the new wheel. So, firstly, compared to the old one, how are you finding the new infrastructure, buddy?
Well, it's secondhand new. Some of my old teammates from a previous team actually sent it to me from the US because my other wheel that I generally use, I have to take off about 20 times in a 40-minute race and back on again for it to actually work. So that's been happening for like the last year and a half in literally every single race I do, every GT3s and whatnot. So it's nice to have something that actually works, even if it's half working at the moment because I don't have any buttons set.
I'd have a complete sense of humour failure if that was me. Fair income. I don't blame you for trying to make life a little bit easier for yourself in that regard. Hey, talk to me about you couldn't go polar opposite any further than what you've just done, right? From the heights of GT3 and everything they bring to the table to a Formula V. It's not straightforward to just jump behind the wheel or something and drive it, but luckily when it comes to learning how to drive a race car, you can get away with arriving a little bit late to the show, as you've proven with the Formula V, but you wouldn't do it with every car, right?
Oh no, you cannot do it with every car. V is probably the only one you could get away with it partially. Like I struggled for the first race in qualifying, but after that kind of got a little bit more hang of it. Went out, saw my dad during one of the races, or in between one of the races, gave me a little bit of coaching. So that was interesting, but yeah, it was good fun, really fun.
And now that Thorn's successfully roped you into the fun of the fair here, let me ask you this. Are we going to see on a more regular basis commit to the Thursday night main course offering that is Disruptive Labs Formula V, or is this just a cameo appearance for you?
Oh, I want to try and get in here a bit more. It was way more fun than I expected. I knew it would be some good fun, but it was absolutely awesome. Had a blast. Want to try and get in some more. Might see what happens next Thursday. We've got the exams over the next couple of weeks, so we'll have to see what happens. But after that, I might be in here for a while.
I think you've had more fun than your teammate Thorn Weggett. He always finds a way to end up in some sort of strife in these cars.
Oh, of course, of course.
And he wasn't the only driver out of the Wild Ride Motorsport stable to go for a wild ride tonight. In fact, one of your teammates sent Grant Boyden on a very wild ride there as well. My wheel decided sporadically to not engage any gears or do FFB. I know the acronym FWB, but I'm assuming he means force feedback?
Yes, it does mean force feedback. He's making up excuses, by the way, you know.
No. Oh, the shade is being thrown. Oh dear, brilliant. He's right though, it is an absolute laugh jumping in here on a Thursday night to go racing in Formula V. It's an absolute hoot. It's very underrated, I reckon, by those that haven't yet given it a taste. I mean, we'd love to see more cars on the grid, but again, to get a field of 28, 29 around here, and for all of us Australian motorsport fans that are old enough to remember it in the real world, it's a nice nostalgic throwback when we go to Oran Park in the virtual world, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome to see. I love fiending over old videos of races here. My dad got his racing license here, so it's a bit unfortunate I never got to experience it myself, a bit too young. But, you know, it's an absolute blast to be able to race these tracks. iRacing maintains them.
Jumping in the Porsches or not, buddy?
No, not tonight. I had planned to last week, but some things fell apart, so I couldn't make it. I do want to in the future. It's definitely on the bucket list.
Very nicely done. Hey, talk to me about this. You had your work cut out there for you on a few different levels, because once you got out there, race 1, you know, start where you qualify, race 2, invert top 10, race 3, invert top 15, but all you guys managed to make good progress tonight, which I thought was really a sign as to how nice a circuit and how good a combination it is, Formula V and Oran Park, because there are some cars that we would take here, and you wouldn't be able to overtake that freely, that easily. But from your standpoint, very different style of racing and racecraft compared to the GT3. How'd you find that?
It was a lot of fun. It is incredibly different. It took me the entire race to figure out the term for the dogleg. I think it's Momo term or something like that. Took me ages to figure that out, where I could actually carry third, just doing a lift, no brake. The racing was fun. I may have accidentally biffed off someone in the first race, I think, but you know, that happens time to time. We'll just you know, glaze on past that. But in general, it is a lot of fun. Just wheel-to-wheel combat is really fun. You can just whip these things around pretty well, so it's awesome.
All right, mate, very nicely done. I've got to step lively here because we've got to do a baton change very shortly. Boydo summing it up with 4 words. Oh, actually 3. Same words, start and finish. Crazy night indeed. A little bit of aerial skiing for you, which we didn't expect to see. Better luck next week, mate. But good to see you out there for the first time this season. David May, there's a name we haven't seen pop up on broadcast for a while. Hello to you, sir. Out there in, I think the last time we touched base with you, were out there in the central western New South Wales. And if you still are, I'm out there in September. So let's catch up. He's described it as the perfect combo. Although that being said, Harrison, before I let you go, I've got a baton change to do in a moment. Matt Schmidtke out, Andrew Neil in. But before I do that, I've obviously got to hear from John Merritt. And before I hear from John Merritt, I should ask you what your thoughts are immediately on Donington Park National next Thursday night.
Ooh, I didn't actually know what track it was. I thought it was something else. That would be quite the spectacle. It would be quite interesting to watch. It would just be a slipstream fest, basically no braking. That would be a fun one to make it to, for sure.
I'm just being told that we've still got a little bit of time, but then again, I don't need encouragement, Matt Schmidtke, because we know full well that once I get, we don't mind having a chin wag, and once we get going, yes, time gets away from us very, very quickly. So it is 8:30 Eastern time, 6:30 Western, 10:30 in New Zealand. The Porsches launch at 8:45, so we've got a bit of time to hear from John Merritt. Harry, anyone you'd like to thank?
Not too many people for this race. I guess it's just Dawn for having a good old chat in the VC during the race, and all my other teammates, of course. Had Brooklyn in this race too. And then parents for watching, of course.
All right, very nicely done. Thank you, mate. I appreciate you stopping on by. And we'll keep in touch. Yes, still in Central West New South Wales. Thank you, David. Appreciate that, mate. Yeah, I'm out there Father's Day weekend at the Orange Kart Club, and then the long weekend of October as well. So we will catch up in due course, and we'll catch up with you on Monday night, Harry, when you go out for a hat-trick of victories to start the season in Waste Options GT3, mate. Go well with that and enjoy the time between now and then.
Awesome. Hopefully I can get it. Have a good one.
Hopefully, indeed. It's been a phenomenal start of the season for him, and also a phenomenal start of the season for John Merritt as well. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. Hot lap. You scraped home last term, right? You gave everybody a 2-round head start and still found a way. So I hazard a guess that because you just got the job done last term, that's the reason why you've only given everybody a one-round head start this term?
Oh, no, I had a commitment last Thursday, mate, so I would have been... I would have been there proud, representing, but I couldn't make it, unfortunately. But Yeah, good night tonight.
How rude of life to get in the way of Formula V.
Oh, exactly.
And how often does it do it on your hot lap? Fair
Too
dinkum.
often. Too often.
I know. Let's talk about that, though, because what about your teammate? What about Tony Baker? He's had a dream sort of a run there and held you off in race 1.
Yeah, he was having a cracker. I don't know. I think it was race 1. Someone tripped over at turn 1, and I ended up with a bit of damage, but got it home, which was nice. And Tone drove flawlessly, and was quick throughout in race 3 as well.
It just goes to show that if you want to bring Pulse tuning down, you can't just stop at John Merritt, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to worry about Tony Baker and Glenn Cito as well. Great to see him get a win there, and great also to see you end the night with a win, but you had your work cut out for you just getting through the pack, particularly in race 2. Jonathan Harris, at one point there, we're looking at the margin. You had 2.7 or 2.8 seconds to find. You did that, but he didn't let you through.
Yeah, I just probably needed one more lap, and the draft, as always, is epic. But what a combo, Oran Park. Bring it back.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the real world.
Just find somewhere else that's not a housing estate, that doesn't want to even be a housing estate.
Might be costly.
Rebuild that by the design that it was known and so famous for so many years. Just do an exact duplicate, replica, I don't care. Bring it back in the real world. I'll echo those sentiments every day of the week. And not just because they had a nice little go-kart track entwined within the inner sanctum of that as well, which I did enjoy driving on a few occasions, which also incorporated the bridge. Let's talk about, race 2, obviously we've already detailed. No surprise to see Chapo latching on and going with you for the ride.
Yeah, no, he was there. I think he might have got a little bit of damage in race 3. He seemed to lack a little bit of speed, but yeah. That's the nature of it. And this track certainly, I think, looking at some of the incident counts are up. That turn 1, 2 sort of invokes that, but some great racing nonetheless.
Absolutely, it was, and there'll be more great racing, of course, when we get to Donington Park next week, mate. But there's such a great array of categories that are right up your rally on our roster this term, mate. I mean, we've already seen you in the BMWs, we've seen you in the Vs. I know you don't mind a GT1 steer on a Friday night.
Yep.
I just guess that time constraints and commitments on the outside world in real life, the stuff that pays the bills and allows you to go sim racing in the first place might be the only thing that gets in the way of that.
Yeah, spot on, mate. Thursday, Friday last week was work related, so you've got to do these things to be able to go sim racing, and so we make it when we can, and mate, I suppose it makes it more enjoyable when you get on.
Absolutely, it does. And by the way, it was nice to see you out there, I think I'm right in saying, in GT3 the other night as well.
Yeah, it wasn't so nice for me. I went in a bit underdone and no decent setup. And anyway, we were fighting. We were having a go.
As you always do, mate. It's always so good to see you doing that. Let's be perfectly honest. You're right, Formula V, Oran Park combination. Plenty of opportunity to overtake, plenty of opportunity to run side by side. 2 wide more so than 3 wide. 3 wide was a bit hairy tonight. But it'll be no different when we get to Donington Park next week. That's a great combination for the V. That typical racetrack in Great Britain, too narrow for the sake of it.
Oh, as long as it doesn't bring the rain, it'll be okay. We'll make it work. But a little narrow for the 3 and 4 wide stuff. We'll wait to Phillip Island for that, I suppose.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Maybe even 5 wide when we get to the island.
Exactly.
But we do have to wait until the back end of the season for that. Of course, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, just to finish that run through of the calendar. So next 2 weeks, Donington and Knockhill, which will be superb. Then Ridskoga Motor Centre in Norway. Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, which is on par with Phillip Island in terms of the level of excitement that'll bring to the table and the amount of decibels I'll probably bring to the table with it. Virginia International North Course, which we've already had some experience with, of course, through the BMWs. Motorsport Arena Oschersleben in Germany, so we do get a German stop on the tour. Then to the Tsukuba Circuit in Japan, which we saw on the calendar last term. Then to Phillip Island for the grand finale, where hopefully, Hot Lap, you're in contention for another V title.
Yeah, good. It's a good calendar. There's some technical stuff, tighter stuff, short course, and a couple of those wide drafting 5 wide tracks. So no doubt it'll give your Strepsils a workout, I think, mate.
Absolutely. I've already put Honey and Strepsils on the shopping list with a view to those events in mind. No doubt about that. And it's very clear, mate, that, again, it's going to be you and Chapo vying for the title, but he's not going to give you any freebies this term. I think he's learned his lesson from last term, and he's going to benefit his holidays this time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, I might alternate with him there. I might have a little break, but we'll do our best to make it fun anyway.
And it always is. Well done, mate. Terrific result. Are you jumping in the Porsches or calling it a night?
Nah, it's a night for me, sadly, but I'm sure I'll see you through the week.
I hope so. Very nice to have you here. Great to see so many of the team out on circuit. Particularly pleasing result for Tony Baker to see both the Pulse boys up there regularly fighting at the pointy end of the yardstick, mate. But again, you remain on top of the summit, so you pick up exactly where you left off last term, and it's been nice to see you back in the seat, and obviously have you back in the booth for a chat as well. So go well, appreciate that, and we'll catch up next week. But before I let you go, is there anyone that you'd like to thank?
Oh, just the Pulse Lexus boys for coming along, and we'll have to drag a couple more along as we go through the season, and the club obviously, and the broadcast. Always a pleasure.
Pleasure as always, mate, and looking forward to more yarns as the season goes on. Appreciate it. Go well. Enjoy the night.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Now, El Presidente has just waltzed into the house as well, ladies and gentlemen. Greg, are you able to stick around for me?
Helps if I unmute my microphone. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, beautiful. Only because I've got to do a bat and change here. We've got to get out of this broadcast into the other. We've got to relieve Matty Schmidtke and bring Andrew Neil in. So we'll do that, and we'll catch up and have a chat with you about your V exploits at Oran Park on the other side. And obviously we'll get a chance to chat Porsches then as well. Thank you. Well done to you, Matt Schmidtke. Final thoughts before I let you go?
Yeah, a good night of racing. A lot of action. Not as much as last week in the crash department, but like you said at the start of the broadcast, I don't think we'll be able to match that properly ever again.
Never. Especially not this season.
No.
Oh, unbelievable. I'm not sure there's a yardstick of a street circuit in this entire iRacing universe that can match the carnage that Adelaide brought to the table. You may as well have just put them in an open showground oval in a sanctum and said, righto boys, have at it, Destruction Derby. Whoever isn't wrecked at the end wins. It was unbelievable. We're going to a break on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. You probably will need to switch over to the new broadcast as we tag team bat and change this Thursday night motorsport doubleheader. 3 races down, 1 to come. The combined Open and Elite Porsche Cup splits coming your way. On the other side of this short break, they'll be heading to the Fuji International Raceway in Japan. We're going Oriental for the first time this season. 40-minute race, the first of those for the campaign as well. Porsche Racing headlines the prime time component of our Thursday nights as per usual, but it's under the tag of dessert this time round because there's no way they're knocking the Formula V off main course status. Going around the grounds, Geelong comfortably leading St Kilda by 30 points, 50-20 at the moment. I'll get to the golf a little bit later on. The NRL, of course, Brisbane and Penrith. Thursday night football, currently 12-8 in favour of the Panthers in the final half a minute of the first half. We're going to a break. More on the other side. Thursday Night Motorsport continues for you live, exclusive and free across Facebook and YouTube, with thanks to the great people at Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com, and Flash Graphics. Don't go away.